Welcome to the Two Geeks and a Microphone podcast, your one-stop shop for television, movie, video games, comic books, book reviews, and more. Now, without further ado, here's Steven and Mike.
That'll be me. Sorry, everybody. Welcome to the Two Geek Show, everybody. Welcome. Good to have you here. It is Saturday. We are in good moods because I think I haven't had all my caffeine yet, but I'm raring to go. I am your co-host, Mr. Stephen Boster, along with the one, the only Mr. Michael Shanks. Mike, say hey to everybody.
Good morning to all you geeks out there in Geekdom land. Sorry about that late start. I kind of was in our intro and stuff, and I was like, oh, wait, I got to get my... So
that's all right. Well, hey, everybody, we are so glad you're here today. We've got a fun show for you. As you notice by the title, it says, Blimey, mate, it's Constantine.
I didn't refresh, so I don't have the title up.
Oh, yeah.
So I didn't even know what you called it. That's great. I love it. Blimey.
Yeah. So, everybody, we've got a fun show for you today. We are talking about Constantine. We are talking about the new Disney animated film that says Constantine, House of Mystery. And I got some words about that. But anyway, then we also went back. I thought it was really fun. Mike had the idea to go, well, let's go watch the Keanu Reeves Constantine.
Was that my idea or was that your idea?
I thought it was yours. Anyway, that's what I did. I was excited to see it again. I like the movie, but we'll get into that, everybody.
Yeah, we'll get into it.
We'll get into it. But then we want to talk about what's going on in the news, kind of what's on our Geekdar. And man, we just got all kinds of stuff today. It is going to be an action-packed show.
I'm excited.
I am. Me too. Well, hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us. So glad you could be here with us today. I'm pretty excited. Now, I do have to ask for forgiveness, Mike, from you for today because we don't have our illustrious Megan, and I will do my best to keep up with the chat.
Yeah, Megan had to work today. I'm not sure where Angie is, so we are moderator less at the moment.
Yeah. So we just ask everybody's grace as we go through everything. So, yeah.
I don't even have my wife in the chat today because she's at work. So
she's at work, too. Wow. It made you be just you and me, but that's okay because we're here to have a good time. And by golly, it will be. I held up my drink. So I said, okay, I got to come up with a phrase. Much more betterer. Cheers, my friend. Cheers.
Well, it won't be much more betterer without them. Yeah,
that's true. That's right. I didn't mean to say it that way. Oh, sorry, you guys.
I don't want them to watch it back later and go, "Oh, so the show's much more better without us."
Whoops! I'm so sorry. That's not what I meant. Wah wah.
That's it. No, we're just having fun. That's all.
Yep. All right. So, well, here's the dealio. So, what do you have in the news, Mike? What's going on in the news?
So apparently this week they announced that both Aquaman 2 and Shazam Fury of the Gods have also been delayed.
Dun, dun, dun.
Right.
How do you feel about that?
Well, I don't know how I feel about Aquaman being delayed. I'm kind of okay with that because I'm thinking they got to do some work on Aquaman 2. Obviously they're working on cutting some of Amber Heard's scenes after all the drama that's went on
from the trial.
Yeah, from the trial and everything. So they're obviously doing work there. But Jason Momoa let it slip. I don't know if you call it a slip or was it planned. I mean, I tend to believe a lot of this stuff is now no longer slips. I think everything
It's
is
all part
planned.
of a
Yeah,
plan.
it's all part of a
A
plan, but
marketing plan.
So Jason Momoa, quote unquote, let it slip that Batfleck will definitely be the Batman in his film, where before it was going to be Michael Keaton being the Batman in his film. But
Mhm.
since they've canned the Batgirl film, obviously things are changing. And so I think those are the reasons why Aquaman 2 is being pushed back. Now, it's being
Mhm.
pushed back till next December, which is quite a ways away still.
Yeah, but I have high hopes. If it's in December,
I do too. I
that
do.
if it was in January, I would be really scared.
Yeah.
Because,
You know
movie
what? I
released in
think
January, February are just trying to make up the
right,
cost.
they're
Not
just trying to
great.
rush it then. I
Yeah.
say take your time, make the film as best as you can.
Yes.
Yeah. I agree. I'm okay with that.
Well, December
So
is usually good films because you're competing with other good films. So they don't put bad films up in January because you won't, or excuse me, in December because you're not
uh,
going to make it.
now you got me worried about Shazam though.
Right.
Because they pushed Shazam Fury of the Gods to March.
Well, March is okay because March you're hitting spring breaks and all that kind of stuff. You're
Right, but
beginning that
March is
process.
not the big movie release.
Well, that's true too. That's
Big
true
movie
too.
releases are during summer and during Christmas. Those are the big
Hmm.
movies. And
Yes.
usually March is reserved for, yeah, we got a movie that we want to look like it's gonna be a huge success, so we're gonna release it in March because there's no movies released in March.
Right. Right.
That's
Right.
usually the process of that.
That's true.
So,
That's
now
true.
you got me a little worried about Shazam.
We'll see. But I don't mind them taking more time because I want a good movie. If you
I
feel
agree.
like it needs to make more time, then take more time. No big deal. That doesn't bother me. I will say this in the news. You mentioned Batgirl,
Mhm.
or was it Batgirl or Batwoman? What was it?
It's
Batgirl.
Batgirl.
So last week they did the death screening. Have you heard about this?
No. What
So on the Warner Brothers lot, they showed the movie, and it's called a funeral screening. Excuse me. That
wait, they showed the Batgirl movie?
they did.
It wasn't
It
supposed to even see the light of day.
Well, no, no, no. They do what's called a funeral screening. This is how I read. I think it was Hollywood Reporter.
Okay.
They do a funeral screening when they know it is going to go away. But for those of you who worked on the film, were a part of the film, to see the work that you had done, or that kind of a thing, it was kind of like, we're just going to lay it to let it rest in peace. We're going to let you see it, and then we're locking it away, never to be seen again,
So
kind of a thing.
is this like that meme with what's his face that plays Grant Gustin plays the Flash when he's in front of the gravestone doing
Oh,
the
I know which one you're talking about. Yeah, 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 yeah. Something like that. Yes. Now, on that same day, by the way, is when Ezra Miller showed
oh,
up with his representatives to talk with the bigwigs at Warner Brothers. And
yeah, I hope they
so,
just escorted him right off the lot.
yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens with that. I'll be honest with you. If they were willing to scrap, $90 million,
Yeah.
and people are like, well, they just do it as a tax write-off. It doesn't work that way. They
Yeah, I don't
say
think
it
it's
is.
quite as simple as that,
You don't get to say, uh, oh, it's just, it's expenses,
Yeah,
and you've paid expenses out. But it's not like, oh, it's just a tax write-off. You don't get to tax write off $90 million.
no,
That's not how that works.
I don't think that's great either.
Yeah. So the question is are they going to do that with the $200 million Flash film, which has been in development for how long? You know,
Uh,
don't
a
get me wrong. I was
decade?
looking forward to seeing Michael Keaton, but I would be, if I'm watching that film, I
Mhm.
would be distracted by the whole fiasco of Ezra Miller.
A lot of times I try to put that kind of stuff aside, but
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
some of his things that he's, been accused of, I'm gonna have a hard time. I really am. And I'm hoping Michael Keaton will just ease me out of that because I'm such
Mm-hmm.
a big Michael Keaton fan and such a big Michael Keaton Batman fan, of course. I'm hoping that eases me out of that enough that it doesn't
Right.
bother me so much. But I think it's time for Ezra Miller to go. I think they use this as a jumping off point and saying, "We have a new Flash from here on out."
Mm-hmm.
And you can do that with the whole Flashpoint, storyline. You can
Mm-hmm.
you can change anything with that Flashpoint
Mm-hmm.
story. So,
Mm-hmm.
I say take the opportunity and, let's just get rid of him. Let's cut off the bad fruit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So it'll be interesting. So I'm sorry, you said the whole Batgirl, you mentioned about Batgirl.
Oh, no.
Then that reminded me about the whole funeral screening. And then the same day is while that was going on, Ezra Miller was talking to the bigwigs with his reps.
Speaking of funeral, I
Yes.
believe this is the 30th anniversary of the death of Superman this month. I think
Really?
yeah. Yeah, and apparently DC's got or maybe it's next month, but apparently DC's got, all kinds of stuff in the works for the death of Superman. You just mentioned funeral and it popped in my head.
Yeah.
That
Funeral for a Friend was the series right
Yes,
after
right,
the
right.
Death Superman series. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It was
That was
good.
when,
Yeah. My
all of
my
us
only
comic collectors went insane.
that was me. I
Yeah,
bought them all.
yeah, me too.
And the Reign of the
3 copies,
Supermen.
3 copies, one to read, one to, keep, and one to sell.
Yeah. Right. We did go crazy, didn't we?
Mhm.
Yeah. So I will tell you this. I'll just real quick, Squirrel. The whole Death of Superman series, I was like, would you get to the fight already? That was my whole thing. You're getting all this here. Here you're introducing Doomsday, and
Oh,
then he's
yeah, that was
coming, he
a
keeps getting
long
closer. It was
buildup.
like
It really
it was
was.
a long buildup to get to the battle and stuff, but man, what a great battle it was.
That might be fun, maybe if we got time somewhere in the next month, because I know
In the
you
next month,
you and I
we got a
just
lot
made
going
out our
on.
plans. We just scheduled out our next month, and now all of a sudden this hits me, and I was like, "Oh, maybe we need to do a Death of Superman, episode at one point." So, maybe in the near future, we do Death of Superman. I think
I like that.
that'd be
That
fun.
will be good because we've
So
got all the books. So
so yeah, Shazam! Fury of the God has been pushed back to March.
yes.
Now, I'm I'm hopeful,
Uh-huh.
very hopeful that this is actually good news. I'm hopeful that this means that Henry Cavill Superman is getting added.
Yes.
That's my hope for this.
Yes. Yes.
If
Yes.
that is
Yes.
happening, you push it back to March. I am super fine with that.
Yep.
Let's bring Henry Cavill in as Superman, and then, we've by this time, we've already had the Black Adam movie because that's still coming out in October. That one is still coming out in October. And The Rock has been very vocal that he wants a matchup between Black Adam and Superman, and not just any Superman. He wants Henry Cavill Superman.
That is gonna be epic.
If they do,
Epic.
I am going to be super happy.
I'm all in. I buy my tickets now. You know what I'm saying?
Take
I'm
my
all
money.
in.
Take my money.
Take
now.
my money. Right.
Awesome. Awesome.
That's
So
right.
that's what we have in the news. We ready to move on to our Geekdar?
Yes, please. Yes,
All right.
please.
Make it official.
Let's make it official.
Well, you don't need that, Private. We're right here. Now, what is it? Now, what is it?
I'm having trouble with the radar, sir.
What's wrong with it?
I've lost the sweeps and I've lost the creeps.
The what? The what? And the what?
You know, the bleeps, the sweeps, and the creeps.
That's not all he's lost.
Crack me up every time.
It cracks me up. I love it. Love it. Love it. I wonder if we could get away with having the video clip that we could show during live in the show.
Ooh, I could work on that.
That'd be kind of fun. And then we can watch his facial expression if he really is laughing at that point, at one spot.
I get time, I'll work on that.
All right. So who wants to go first on Geekdar?
It doesn't matter.
All right, I'm going first because I'm excited. Okay, so hey everybody, last week, my
I
wife
can
and I.
roll a dice if you want.
No, is it a 10-sided? Is it
I
a
got
D10?
I
Is it
got a
D10?
D10, I got a D6, I got a D20.
Right
I
on.
got a D20 inside of a D20.
Oh, that's right. That's crazy. That's pretty cool. So I watched this last week. I went to the theater to go see Bullet Train with my wife. So that's the movie with Brad Pitt where he's on the train. It is actually a fun movie. It is a good movie. It's not like it's not like your epic blockbuster kind of a film, but it is a fun movie.
I feel like I've been seeing trailers for that movie for like a year now.
Right? Probably have, but it's good. It's good. It's it takes place in Japan, I think.
Yeah, that
But
would
it
make sense. The bullet that's where the home of the bullet train is.
train. Okay, yeah. So it's good. It's got some great action sequences, great effects. Had a
I
great
do
time
like
with it.
one trailer where the guys are fighting and then the girl comes through with the refreshment cart and he's like,
Yes.
Do you have any water?" And
Yeah.
and she gives him like a glass bottle, I think, of water.
It's
And
a big Voss water. Yeah, kind of
yeah.
a thing. Yeah.
And then they just completely stop everything, and he looks at him and says, "Would you like some water?" "No, thank you." And
Right.
he drinks the water and then just pegs him in the head with
Right. What's funny is what you don't see is actually he made the other guy pay for the water. He goes, "Oh, I lost my wallet," or something like that. So yeah, it was pretty funny. Yeah. So
That's classic. I like that.
yeah, you know how some movies you think you really seen everything in the trailer kind of a thing.
Yeah.
This is not one of those. There's a whole lot to the movie. It's really good. Even the whole ending sequence, you don't see anything about it in the trailer. So it's
Okay.
really good.
Maybe I'll watch this then.
It's
wasn't
worth
interested in it.
seeing.
Okay.
It's worth seeing. If you're on a limited budget though, it's one that you could it could be either way. I wouldn't say you'd have to see it in the theater. It would be great to see it in the theater just because of the sound effects and getting the really surround sound kind of thing
Yeah.
because of what that movie is. But you don't have to, if that makes sense.
Sorry,
So
I probably if I watch it, it's going to be at home.
that is okay. There's
No,
nothing wrong with that.
I just don't see anything that I need to go see it at the theater. But
Understood.
I get it.
Understood. It's not like an epic film. I mean, if it was something epic, I'd be like, see it in the theater,
right.
kind of thing.
Exactly.
So the other thing I want to talk about is I stayed up late last night to watch the new Sly Stallone Amazon Prime movie Samaritan.
Nice. I saw trailers for this a couple weeks ago. And I
Yeah.
had no idea this was coming. I didn't know what it was about.
Yeah.
And like, whoa, this looks interesting.
Mhm.
So what are your thoughts?
It is worth seeing.
Nice.
It's worth seeing, period.
Okay.
When I first saw the trailers, I immediately added it to my watch list for Amazon. And then I got the notification it popped up Thursday and I was like, "Oh, can I stay up late Thursday?" I didn't get a chance to. And so I really enjoyed this movie. There are not callbacks, excuse me. There is some dialogue in there that would take you back to some of the 80s action films, some one-liners kind of a thing. There was only a couple of them, but they were fun. It was fun. It had a great twist at the end. And that's all I'm going to say that I enjoyed. That I'm usually pretty good about picking up things, and I didn't even see this coming, kind of a thing. And I liked it a lot. It was really
I
good.
am a huge Rocky fan.
Uh-huh.
So I'm a fan of Sylvester Stallone. I've watched several of Sylvester Stallone's movies. I've always been a fan of his. So yeah, when I saw this, I was like, ooh. I mean, Sylvester Stallone's done some superhero stuff in the past. This isn't his first, delve into superhero world.
This is a good character film of
Right.
a hero who had, and I'm not saying anything that's not outside of the trailer,
Right.
who has walked away from being a superhero. Everyone thinks he's dead, and you see the angst in who he is. and trying to come to grips with his view and how he's turned his back on society, or he's just trying to live his life. But you begin to understand a little bit more about what he's been doing to try to calm himself. You do learn more about his powers, but there's this little kid who's like, I knew it was you, kind of a thing, and sees different things. And there's some great little sequences in it. Your big action stuff is really the third act. So
Okay.
if you think there's going to be action in the whole thing, there's not. It really is about an aging superhero, his view of the world, and how this boy changes him.
I mean, as long
And
as the story's good,
the
that's
story is, I enjoyed the story. Now, some people are giving it kind of mediocre ratings, and you're missing the fact of what the movie is.
gotcha.
And what it's meant to be. It is well worth seeing. I would even say, look, if you don't have Amazon Prime, get Amazon Prime for a month. Really, I mean, I would say it is enjoyable film, and at the same time, you can catch all the other Amazon Prime stuff that's out there. And stuff. There's some good stuff. There's some good movies on there and stuff. So they are getting better with movies. I know they're spending a whole lot of money on Lord of the Rings and what's the other one? There's another one, I can't think of it off the top of my head also, but they're spending some money, and for this film, it's worth seeing. I'm just going to say that. I don't want to say any more because I'd love for us to do a show about it, because I think it's worth doing a show on it, and because just the themes that are in it, the twist that's at the end, the some of the acting's not great. And for some, but Sylvester Stallone does a nice job with it. He really does.
Well, I'm a Stallone fan, so I'm up for it. So
Yeah, if you are, I'd say you watch it tonight. I'm just, Anyway,
well,
okay.
I don't
So
know if tonight's gonna happen because we
yeah,
got a lot going on right now. So
yeah. Let me do one more thing real quick. I want to do a shout out, and you said we probably need to let everybody know. Last week, if you remember, we did the whole She-Hulk one, the first episode.
oh yeah,
And we are not going to do a show
episode.
centered around each episode. And let me tell you, it's a good thing we're not, because I know you haven't watched it. I watched it. It's only 20 minutes. By the time you do the credits for all the world, the when I say the black credits, the black screen with the white, scrolling credits, that's like 5-6 minutes at the end of the show. It's just
Wow.
it's like, and it's only like 30 some odd minutes. So you take that off, then you have the regular end credits, that goes, where they do the really cool animation and stuff like that.
Right.
And all. But this was such I don't want to say filler episode, but it's a they should have made this a freaking movie rather than when you go in there, you're like, there is no beginning end point to this part of the story. It's just a connecting point. It's a joint, in the films, which is fine. That I don't mind that. But if you're doing episodic shows, it's got to have a beginning, a middle, and an end as part of a larger whole. And it just wasn't that. And there was one great line in it. Kind of a thing. They make a reference back to, they introduce, I don't want to get into it. We'll talk about it later. If you're watching the show, that's great. You do need to watch it as part of the whole thing. But I'll be open with you. I don't want to watch anymore until the whole thing's done, because I was just like, it was good, but it was like, this is not an episode. See, I'm getting ready to go off. I'm going to stop, and we'll talk about it later. I'm so sorry.
I was excited about watching the second episode, but after hearing that, I may just wait till next week and then watch 2 and 3 together.
I would say yes. Watch 2 and 3. Well, I mean, I haven't seen 3 yet, but it's
Right. Well,
it's only 20 minutes, realistically. So yeah.
That's kind of disappointing, but okay. So my Geektar.
Yes.
So yesterday I went to the comic book store to get my pull.
Okay.
Fantasy Books in Belleville. And no, they are not sponsoring us, but anyway. But it is my comic book choice, comic book place of choice. Anyway, so me and the girl at the counter, we were talking a little bit, and she knows that I'm a big Star Wars fan, and she's like, "Have you ever seen these?" And she pulls out the Star Wars. Okay, The Star Wars is a comic series that came out in 2013. It was done by Dark Horse Comics.
Okay. Is
Is
that an imprint? Is Dark Horse an imprint of somebody else? Or they're their own
an imprint.
publisher? Like
No.
Vertigo, DC Vertigo,
No.
or
Dark Horse is its own thing.
oh,
Dark
okay,
Horse
okay.
used to have the Star Wars. Well, that's news too, because that's how we got into this. Dark Horse had the Star Wars line.
License. Okay.
They had the license before Disney purchased Star Wars. And then when Disney purchased Star Wars, Disney owned Marvel, and they were like, well, why are we letting another comic company do our product when we got our own comic book company? So they gave the license back to Marvel, because originally Marvel had the license, but Marvel
Okay.
lost it in the late 80s, early 90s. And Dark Horse obtained it at that point. Anyway, so this is a Dark Horse comic. Oh, and by the way, Disney has put out a secondary line of Star Wars comics over the last few years,
Yeah.
IDW. Well, IDW has either backed out or Disney kicked them out, one of the two. I don't know which it is, and they gave it back to Dark Horse. So Dark Horse is now taking over some of the Star Wars titles. I think they're more of the kind of kiddish type stuff.
Right.
But and then Marvel has, of course, all the main Star Wars comic titles. So like Darth Vader, Bounty Hunters, that kind of thing. That's all Marvel. But Dark Horse has got some of it back. Anyway, I digress. So in 2013, Dark Horse obtained the rights to George Lucas's original story treatment of the Star Wars. So this was George's ideas before what we got as the finished product in 1977. It is so different than what we know as Star Wars today. Star Wars could have been a total different thing. I was collecting these, and she pulls out, she goes, if you needing these, I'm like, actually I do need them. I just don't know. I don't remember what issues I need. And she goes, well, I'm missing issues 1 and 2. And I'm like, I think I have 1 and 2. I says, I'm going to go home and find out. So I came home. I came home and jumped into my comic book box, and I think I've lost some of the issues, because all I could find were 1 and 2.
Oh, okay.
So she had everything I needed to complete the series.
Oh,
So I was like, oh,
nice.
sweet. And I didn't know it, but there's even a 0 issue.
Ooh.
And
The
now
Star Wars. He's showing, for those of you who are listening, he's showing a picture of the cover of the 0 issue.
Now that on the cover, the face you see there, that is General Luke Skywalker. To me, that looks like George Lucas.
It kind of does look like George Lucas.
So as you
headband
see,
on.
the characters are quite different in this too. I think this is something we need to cover.
Okay. That sounds
And-
interesting. Okay.
And if anyone's out there interested in reading it, and they don't have access to the issues, and you do have access to the Marvel app, it is available on the Marvel Unlimited app. So it's possible to read it. So that is what is on my Geektar this week.
Very cool.
I did finish up the latest season of Only Murders in the Building.
I did too.
It was
did too.
great. I loved it.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to season 3.
Yeah. I told Kelly, I said, my only complaint about the last episode, really the last 2 episodes, they were great. They were fun. They were entertaining. But I said, there is no way you could have picked up any of these clues earlier on in the show. It's like all of a sudden, reveal.
Yeah, that's
Here's
true.
another reveal. And I'm like, for murder mysteries, I like being on the journey to kind of piece the clues together as things go along. I don't like all of a sudden, here's all these, ooh, we didn't say anything of this before, but we're going to bring it up now as a major reveal. So, but other than that, it was fun. It is the comedic genius of Steve Martin and Martin Short.
Oh, you ain't kidding. That is just, they're just fabulous in it. I love
They
it.
are fabulous.
I've always been fans of those 2 actors. So yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good series. So
Yep.
that's my Geek Dark.
Right on. Good stuff, my friend. Good stuff. Well, all right, we better hit our. It's right at the 30-minute mark. So
I know. Well, sometimes the news in the Geek Dark takes a little time. So
It does. It does. So, hey, everybody, we want to talk about Constantine. Blimey, mate. It's Constantine. Even though it's probably not the best accent to do. Sorry about that. That was probably a little more Australian than it was English.
that's okay.
So
we are
go ahead.
talking about the Constantine, the latest animated film called Constantine House
of Mystery.
Mysteries. Okay. And then we are going to discuss Constantine, 2004?
I will tell you, Constantine
when we need our
movie,
Cheetos.
2005.
2005. I was close. I was really
Yes.
close. Starring Keanu Reeves.
Yeah. Hey, have you happened to see John Wick? Any of the John Wick
I
films?
have not. I gotta watch.
That's okay.
That's
okay. One of the actors that was in the Keanu Reeves Constantine, I didn't realize it till we rewatched it, is in John Wick. As a small part in John Wick, but it was
okay.
Yeah, it's one of the best lines. But anyway, yeah. And also, it was at the beginning of the second film, I want to say. But anyway, so yeah. So anyway, long story. That's a whole nother story. I'm getting us off topic. So let's talk the animated. I can't say animated film. I'm sorry. I'm not doing it. It was a freaking bait and switch, and it frustrated me to death. I'm so glad we're talking about this because I've had this pent up aggression about this Disney animated film. DC animated film. Excuse me.
Yeah,
sorry, everybody.
DC, not Disney.
DC animated film. And yes, so let's chit chat about the title, Constantine : The House of Mystery.
Okay,
go ahead.
I knew this was shorts. I didn't, and I guess I didn't convey that to you. I apologize. That's probably my fault.
No, it's not your fault. It's you think I thought, oh, it's a series of shorts. Okay, cool. Probably different ones with Constantine because it's Constantine : House of Mystery. I'm gonna drink every time I say Constantine : House of Mystery because the title itself makes you think that the whole movie, the whole set of things is Constantine. It's bait and switch. It is a bait and switch because the first 30 minutes are Constantine, which is great. When it ends,
Right.
I'm like, whoa, that was quick. Oh, right. It's a whole bunch of little things. Okay, let's see what happens next. I thought it was going to be all these different things with Constantine.
You didn't watch the animated shorts afterwards, did you?
Nope. I was so frustrated. I said, forget it. I'm not watching. Now I did fast forward through them to see, okay, is there anything, is there anything with Constantine in these? Is there anything Constantine in this? No, I got another Constantine movie to watch. I'm not watching these others.
We did the Steven skip through all of them.
I did. I hit the 15-second button a whole lot.
That's what we call it in my house, the Steven skip.
The Steven skip? I love it. Yes, Steven skip. The Steven skip happened through the rest of those.
That's hilarious. I did watch the other shorts and they were all right. It wasn't anything fantastic or anything. They were just okay. They're decent stories, not bad. My wife was watching it with me and she made the comment. She goes, "Hey, it's kind of like watching Saturday morning cartoons." I was like, "Yeah." So that's what you need, Steven. You need to get your PJs on, get your Captain Crunch, and then watch it.
Technically, it would be Crunch Berries, but yes, that's
whatever your cereal of choice is. I agree. The Crunch Berries were the best part of Captain Crunch. So
right.
All right. So let's jump into this.
Yes. All right. Give me what's the best way to say a synopsis of the story?
Oh shoot, I should have had something up.
Oh, I can do that still. I can do that here in a second. So
while you're getting the synopsis, I can tell you this. This is basically right after Justice League
Apocalypse War, right?
Which was kind of cool because I did watch Justice League Apocalypse War and I thought it was a decent DC animated film. I like it. So it was kind of neat jumping right off of that, and it's just the direct continuation of what happens to Constantine after all of that happens.
Okay.
And I thought that was kind of neat. I like that.
Yeah. So here's the DC fandom database, for lack of a better term, that says they say Constantine House of Mystery is a 2022 animated short starring John Constantine, played by our favorite Matt Ryan. Following up on the conclusion of Justice League Dark Apocalypse War.
Right.
And that's all they give. That's all they give. Boo.
So basically, I already
Boo.
gave the synopsis. Well, there's
Right,
not
you
a
already
lot
gave the
to it,
synopsis.
honestly.
Here's IMDb says this: occult detective John Constantine is trapped in the House of Mystery, a secret domain where none can escape from.
Yes, and that describes it pretty good, actually, because that's exactly what happens to him. He is in a house that can't be escaped, and I described it as Groundhog's Day from hell.
That's great. That's a great explanation of it. Yes.
Because
Yes,
we watched
agreed.
it, and when it first starts happening, you don't really know what's going on, and it's almost like everything's going right for John for just a few moments, and then it's like he and Zantana are married and they have two boys and everything. And
That's
I'm like,
the opening one. Yeah.
I was like, what? Wait,
When
John,
did this happen?
when
Right.
did this happen? I missed this, and then everything
Right.
goes to hell, literally.
Right.
And I was like,
Mhm.
oh, okay, now I know. Now I get what's going on.
Mhm.
This is Groundhog's Day from hell.
Right. It
Which-
almost reminded me of the ending of the first Doctor Strange movie, where it's like Dormammu, I've come to
yeah.
bargain, and he gets killed, and then he goes back and he gets killed again, and goes back and gets killed
Right.
again.
Yeah,
That's really what we see happen. Is he comes back?
a lot like that.
Yeah. So,
Of course, I still had Bill Murray in my head when Bill Murray starts killing himself, and at one point he goes, "I'm a god. I'm not the god. I'm just a god."
Right. Yep. So, so we had the characters we had were John Constantine, Zatanna or Zatanna. How's the best way to say that? How do you say that? Whichever. Okay. You had Jason Blood was in there.
You say tomato, I say tomato.
Right.
Whatever. Although I say tomato too.
Yeah. But the biggest reveal, I think, for me, character wise, was Spectre.
Yeah. Spectre was cool.
Spectre was cool. Did you know that was voiced by Lou Diamond Phillips?
Oh, I didn't realize that.
I knew it, but I couldn't tell. You know what I'm saying? The way they echoed his voice, kind of a thing and stuff. But
they did a good job on that. Yeah, I didn't catch it at all.
Yeah. So everybody, for all intents and purposes, what was happening was Constantine was in jail. That's what you find out after getting killed several times, and then he figures out a way to escape in great Constantine fashion. Then he meets Spectre, and Spectre says, "How'd you get out?" I saw you get out, kind of thing. Only to realize that he's trapped in the House of Mystery because of what he did to change the outcome, I guess, of Apocalypse War. Is that the best way to say that? To go back in time and change things for the Apocalypse War? Is that a good way to?
Yeah, that's pretty much what happens. He uses the Flash, and basically they use Flashpoint.
Okay.
Which is becoming a scapegoat for DC. I love Flashpoint. Flashpoint is an amazing story. And
I think the original Flashpoint,
Yes.
the concept of what that story was with, Bruce Wayne's dad, I can't think of his name, Thomas Wayne being the Batman, which is great. And you guys, if you haven't heard our episode on that, go back and listen to our episode on that, because because we really go through and talk about what we like about that whole Flashpoint movie. We did
Well,
the
and
movie.
I am currently collecting the latest Flashpoint, the Dark Flashpoint. I forget what it's called, but
Mhm.
and it's
Is it good? Is it good?
the first few issues have been good, but it's
Right.
focusing a lot on Thomas Wayne, you know. So
Ooh.
and that's what I want. Honestly, I
Yeah.
want a whole comic series with just Thomas Wayne and that version of Batman. That's what I want.
Does he look like Jeffrey Dean Morgan?
No, no,
Oh, that would be so
he
great.
looks like comic book Batman.
Oh, okay. It'd
Basically,
be cool if it was Jeffrey Dean Morgan. You know what I mean? I'd
yeah,
love to see him come back as that.
that's what I want too. I want a movie
Yeah.
with Jeffrey Dean Morgan playing
And
Thomas Wayne Batman.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah. And then what's her name being the you know,
uh-huh.
oh yeah. Okay, I don't want to get into that. So anyway, yeah, yep. So so it's only like 30 minutes, everybody. This is all I watched. I really want to know what your opinion was on how it all panned out and what all happened by the end.
I like the story. The story's
Mhm.
and it's very Constantine,
Uh-huh.
because
Very Constantine.
he's basically being punished, which just fits in perfectly with his story that we know Constantine. I have to admit the over and over and over killing got redundant. Like okay, I
It's like,
get
okay, let's move on now.
it, right? I get it,
Yeah.
but again, you only had 30 minutes.
Right. I guess that's why I thought it was going to go much longer. I thought it was going to be mostly Constantine, and then you were going to throw in some 10-minute
Which is what
shorts and
a
stuff.
lot of their feature length feature length animated films do that. They'll throw in a few shorts at the end. It'll be like an hour and a half long, and then they throw in a few shorts to make it 2 hours. It
Mhm.
is
Mhm.
generally the way they do that, but this is more of a showcase type thing. So
Mhm.
you notice when it comes on, the first thing you see is you see that comic book shop,
Oh, right, in the House of Mystery comic
right? And then
collection of short stories.
they travel
Good
through the
point.
comic book shop, and then they the spindle goes around, and then boom, the comic book of that story pops.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
when
Mhm.
they do something like that, you know that this is a showcase. It's
Mhm.
not a feature length; it's a showcase. So that's what they did. Like I said, I knew that it was this style going into it, and again, I should have told you that, and I apologize.
That's all right.
So I wasn't, when you texted me that night, dude.
I
It's only 30 minutes.
right.
I was laughing. I was like, I know this, dude. I know it's. I thought it was so funny though. So yeah, I knew that. I was expecting it, but again, I like the story. The story is good,
Mhm.
but the killing got redundant.
Sure. Well,
It
let
makes
me
me
ask you.
sad for 30 minutes.
Yeah, what did you think of the twist that Spectre had actually meant to create for John Constantine a something that I get? What was it?
Prison?
Well, the prison, but it was meant to
Oh
be
yeah, it was meant to be. Okay,
kind of what he, kind of a what would his
he could live out
dreams.
his fantasies forever,
Right,
basically.
right,
Uh,
right. But
again,
his mental capacity would not allow him to do
right.
that.
Again, it fits perfectly with the Constantine character. I
Yeah.
mean, actually, that kind of ties in with the film, that we watched with Keanu Reeves.
Mm-hmm.
This
Mm-hmm.
whole idea that, and I don't necessarily agree with this idea, but the whole idea that he's unsavable, you know.
Right.
But
Right.
I think this kind of puts that more into his head. It puts it more on him. Well, you're unsavable only because of
In
you.
in the animated film, yes.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
In the
Mhm.
animated film, not in the
Right. No, it was a different plot point in the movie. Yes.
right.
Good
So
connection, though. By the way, good connection.
I liked the twist. I thought it was really good. And again, it's perfect for Constantine's story. It fits perfectly into his story.
Right. Right. I would say I enjoyed that. I had hoped this is where I think another Constantine thing is, and you can help give me insight. So then Spectre, here the universe is coming for Constantine, because you mess things up, kind of a thing. And you see this moment, Constantine says, I see it all. I understand it all. It all becomes clear for him. But he's like, don't let him take me. And Spectre's like, it's too late. You should have stayed in the house, kind of a thing. Is that kind of normal maybe that's another reason it bothered me, because I don't like it where the good guy doesn't really win, kind of a thing. But feeling like
Right.
now, he didn't, the universe was coming after him,
Yeah, but
kind
he
of a thing.
the house. He escapes the house though. So I don't know. Did he really lose? I mean, in Constantine way, did he really lose?
I guess, but I got worried for him at the very end. It's like, when he was like, don't let the universe take me, kind of a thing. And
Yeah,
Spectre says,
I just looked at it as we're getting continued adventures of Constantine. That's the way I looked at it.
oh, okay.
I
I was worried that he was going to be punished even more so. I'm like, oh man, you just escaped from the house. But anyway, okay, I got
Yeah,
you.
well, he is gonna get punished, but that's part of his character, though. That's written into the character. Another thing that threw me off was when this started, he's sitting there with all his buddies, and I'm going, "Wait a minute, he died in this, and he died in this, and he died in this." I'm like, "All these people are dead. How are they here?" You know?
Right.
I was really, really confused with that first one. And then when they all changed into the demons, I was like, oh, okay, I get it now. I get it. They're all
Right.
just posing as demons. Oh, or demons are just posing as his friends and everything. So, and I loved it that Etrigan was in it. Etrigan is a,
That's
favorite.
Jason Blood, isn't it?
Yes, it is Jason Blood. Yep.
Mhm.
Which they featured Jason Blood at the beginning of this too. So
Yeah. Yep. Yep. So, all right. So,
that's Etrigan, not estrogen, by the way.
right. If you guys haven't heard our last discussion about that, that was one of the things that came up. So, how would you rate? We didn't do this at the beginning, but how would you rate just this story? I'm not doing the whole. I didn't watch the whole thing, but just this story. What would you rate it?
I think the story. I mean, if I'm going story alone, I'm giving it a 9. Just story.
Oh, okay.
Because I liked the story. I enjoyed it. But as a animated featurette, I can only give this about a 6.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
I think you have to be a really super diehard Constantine fan to really enjoy it.
Appreciate it. I agree. Yes.
If you are not a diehard Constantine fan, I say skip it. Just don't mess with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're somebody who's just new coming into Constantine, yeah, I don't think you're going to get much out of it. I don't think you'll like it that much.
Yeah, you need to know the character. You need to know some of the other stories surrounding it. Yeah, I agree. That's a good insight. So, yeah, I think for me too. I yes, it was short. I didn't like that where the good guy really doesn't win in the end, in my opinion. But that's probably debatable. I understand your perspective, and I do appreciate that. Thank you.
But again, it's Constantine. So
It is Constantine. That is true. That is true. And so I
never
probably
really meant to win.
right. So I'll give it 7 out of 10 houses of mystery, I guess.
Nice. Okay.
Kind of a thing. So yeah, that's mine. Now we put 20 minutes on that, just as much time there is in the actual film.
Right.
Good night. No, I'm just kidding, everybody. I do want to talk about the movie Keanu Reeves as Constantine.
Okay. Yes,
I
wanna
have
watch
some
that.
thoughts
I
about it.
I do too.
I did see it a long time ago. I was excited about seeing it again. I have enjoyed the movie. I saw the movie before I knew really more about the character Constantine, if that makes sense.
Okay. Okay.
So I enjoyed it more earlier. That's why I was excited about seeing it again. But now that I've seen the TV series and I know more about the character itself, I'm like, huh.
So, I did not see this movie when it first came out, and I am a fan of Keanu Reeves.
Me too.
I like several of his movies.
Mhm.
Yes, I have not watched John Wick. I know that's a sin for a Keanu Reeves fan, but
No, it's all right. There's no judgments
event
here. This is a
eventually
judgment-free zone as we're judging movies.
yeah, right,
Whatever.
right. Um, so I had never watched this film back then, and back then I didn't really know anything about Constantine. So
Mhm.
I got
Mhm.
introduced to Constantine several years back with the Arrow, Arrowverse, and well, I mean
Oh,
with his, we had his show, okay,
right. Which
which
was
his show
great.
is incredible.
With Matt Ryan was really good.
Matt Ryan's show is awesome. I love that. I
Mhm.
wish that show would have continued. Unfortunately, it got canceled. That was on, I think, NBC, I wanna say. Um,
I don't
yeah, I can't remember
know.
which network had it. They were it was on one of the bigger networks, though. But anyway, it got canceled, and that's when I come to know Matt Ryan as Constantine. That's when I was like, he is Constantine. He's perfect.
That
Um,
was 2014 to 2015.
right. Yeah, it was only one season.
Yeah, which was kind of a bummer. Yeah, I don't know which thing it aired on, but David Goyer was one of the creators, and he's done a whole bunch of stuff that does really well. Um,
Well, that series was my introduction to Constantine, and then
mm,
they moved him over into Legends. I think he made
mhm.
a couple appearances on Arrow. Actually, Brendan and I were talking about this last night. I think he would have fit in better on Arrow than he did on Legends, honestly.
Yes, agreed.
Because Arrow tended to be darker and
Darker, more
less
serious in tone.
right, less
Yes,
comedic. And we had Damien Dark on Arrow. That's where Damien Dark got introduced.
that's right. That was a good actor too that played
And
David. He always plays a good bad guy. Always plays a
yeah,
good bad guy.
I really like him a lot. And I know he and Damien went against each other in Legends, but I think we would have gotten better stories over in Arrow had the two
Oh,
of them went against each other in Arrow.
would
Yeah.
have been much
It would have
more
been much more better.
better. Drink up, everybody.
That's the last of my coffee too, by the way.
Mm.
Anyway, so yeah, that was my those were my introductions to Matt Ryan as Constantine. And I I had heard people say, including you're like, "Oh, there is a Constantine movie." "Oh, there is?" "Yeah, with Keanu Reeves." And I went, "What?"
Yeah.
Wait a minute, I'm watching Matt Ryan, and you want me to watch Keanu Reeves pretend to be Constantine? Matt Ryan is Constantine.
It
Sorry.
is. Yeah. Yeah.
But no, I did watch this. I finally watched it this week. I actually liked the movie. I think the movie's a good movie.
Mhm.
Um, but I kind of look at it like I look at uh, yeah, the Sherlock films. Uh,
Okay.
with
The
Iron.
BBC the
No,
BBC
no, no,
films?
no, no, the movies with Iron Man with
Oh, sure, Robert Downey Jr.
yeah, Robert Downey
Yes.
Jr. Thank
Yes,
you. Thank
the,
you. Brain
Guy
working.
Ritchie. The Guy Ritchie directed those.
Yes, I
Right
kind of
on.
see those movies are decent,
Mhm.
but I cannot see him, Robert Downey Jr., as Sherlock. He's just not Sherlock, you know? And I kind of look at this the same way. It's a good
Mhm.
movie, but Keanu Reeves just isn't Constantine.
Well, it's also Keanu Reeves playing Constantine, playing Keanu Reeves.
This is true.
Um,
Let's
and
face it, Keanu Reeves pretty much always plays Keanu Reeves. Well, unless of course he's Bill. What is he? Bill or Ted? No,
right.
he's Ted. I get him confused. Who's who? Because that's Ted. That's not Keanu Reeves. That's Ted.
Right.
Other than that, he's pretty much always Keanu Reeves.
I know. He was, yeah, he
Kinda like
was.
Jack Nicholson. No matter what, is Jack Nicholson.
Yeah, that's a good call. That's a good call.
And I love Jack Nicholson, by the way. He
Right.
is one of my all-time favorite actors.
Yeah, we may have to do a whole episode of Keanu Reeves films. So here's one of my issues with Keanu Reeves' adaptation of this is it's not the English version. Does that make sense?
Sorry, Roger.
Roger, dude. Well played, Roger. Well played.
We just gave Death a wedgie. Sorry.
The thing is, it's not the English version, but at that time I didn't know any better. I was like, "Ooh, here's a guy who is an occultist, who he's a detective." So it kind of reminded me. Later on, when I saw Dresden Files, I thought, "Oh, that's kind of the same concept, kind of a thing."
Very similar. Yeah.
Even though I think Dresden Files is Chicago and a little bit more. There's a little bit more to it. It's not what makes Constantine different is he's a jerk.
That's true. Dresden's not a jerk. Yeah.
Dresden's not a jerk. That's the big difference between the two.
Yeah.
But
there's a lot of people that don't like Dresden, but
right.
He's not
right.
He's not the jerk that Constantine is a jerk and he's proud of it.
Yeah. Right. He doesn't care.
Okay, is it really that Constantine is a jerk, or okay, I apologize to any of our British listeners out there, but or is it just he's a Brit?
Right, I don't know.
A lot of times, again, I know this is a bit of a stereotype, but a lot of times the Brits come off as hoity-toity. I'm trying to be very careful.
They make great villains. I'm just saying.
They're always the villain. So is that really is that why Constantine comes off that way? The character comes off that way. I don't know.
No, I think it's part of the dynamic of the character that he is a jerk or doesn't really care or whatever.
And that's part of the reason I like him, actually.
Right. Well, I love how he's sarcastic and all
yeah.
that kind of stuff in playing, but I think it's because who he deals with, how he deals with people and other entities. But at the same time, at the end of the day, though, he's still willing to do whatever he can to save the human race.
Right. And actually, he comes off as a jerk, but I think it's just more of him being, he just doesn't let things get in his way. Let's just put it that way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. He has force of will, and there's no sugarcoating it. Look, this is the direction where we're headed. This is the only way that needs to be done, no matter what.
Right.
I think it's
he doesn't sugarcoat it. That's a great way to put it.
He doesn't sugarcoat it. He just says this is how it is. And if it's got to be a certain way, like when we when we were reading through Deceased,
yes,
his character would not tell anybody what was going on. When he had everybody hidden in Dr. Fate's place, that one room Dr. Fate can't go into and all that kind of stuff. I thought, oh, what's all these housing? And he's not letting anybody see it. And then when they see it, it's like all this stuff. And like, how could you can't have all this? And what he has to do in order to save everybody. It's really interesting. He does whatever it takes. Doesn't matter if you view it as good, if you view it as bad, doesn't matter. Right. He's all about the ends justify the means.
Exactly.
And so it's really interesting.
So I think that's why I really like his character so much.
Mm-hmm.
He's no BS character,
Right. Yeah, I think Roger's right. Legends kind of ruined him. I think Legends, the concept of Legends was to be a little bit more
comedic.
over the top kind of a thing,
And his
and that's
character is meant to be more dark, in my opinion.
yes, agreed.
I
Yeah,
don't know if I would say it ruined him, but we got Constantine light is what we got.
right. Yeah,
So
but at least we got some more Constantine.
right, that's the way I
Yeah,
looked at it. I'm like, well, it's not the Constantine I exactly want, but
right.
at least I got him, and I got Matt Ryan playing him, so
Hmm.
happy that I got something.
Right,
I would have
right.
preferred if they would have let him stay in his own series and eventually introduce Dr.
Yep.
Fate into that series.
Oh, that would be great.
Amazing. And I don't understand why they, fine, if NBC or whatever the network was decided that it wasn't enough. Obviously, the character had, enough of a following. You brought him over into Legends.
Hmm.
Why didn't they just bring the show over to, their side of things? I just don't understand their thinking there.
Hmm. Hmm. I we didn't rate it. Let's rate it real quick. What would you give a rating for the Constantine Keanu Reeves movie? Take it in consideration, however you want to take it in. Saying I've already seen Matt Ryan, whatever it is. Just
Sure.
what would be your rating?
It was hard to turn off the fact that it wasn't Matt Ryan.
Yes.
I'll admit that. But I am a Keanu Reeves fan. I do enjoy a lot of his films.
Hmm.
I thought the story was really good and fit in great in the Constantine universe. In fit well with his character. Everything was pretty much perfect with the Constantine character.
Right.
So with all that being said, I enjoyed the film, but without Matt Ryan, I have to give it a 7. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know what we're using as our scale.
Dragon's Breath.
Okay, there we go. I'll give it 7 out of 10 Dragon's Breath. I think the movie is definitely worth watching.
Okay.
But if you are a fan of Matt Ryan, just keep it in your head. This is not Matt Ryan, but it's still a good film. It's still really good.
Yeah. I would give it 8 out of 10. Granted, it's almost 20 years old. It's 18. It's 18 years old.
Wow.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah.
Gosh, who are these two old dudes doing Two Geeks and a Microphone show? I will say this. At the time, I really enjoyed the concept of the story. I've always been fascinated by the supernatural and all that kind of stuff. And I thought, oh, this is interesting. I don't agree with the theology of it, of the first one, but I understand, they throw in some Catholic theology along with some occult theology and stuff.
A little bit with Gabriel.
That was an interesting take. That's an interesting mythos that they've created. Yes.
I mean, it didn't turn me off. I was just slightly going, huh, that's interesting. Number one, Gabriel was female. And then I read up on some things, and some people, there were some things that I read that said that angels are, I never say the word right, and androgynous. Okay,
neither
female
nor male nor female. Yeah,
right.
Both having characteristics of both.
I guess in a way that's accurate. In a way. But I never pictured Gabriel in a female form. I've always pictured Gabriel in a male form, very large, muscular,
right.
Same way I picture Michael. I picture both
the archangel, right?
The archangel. Picture them as warriors, basically. So that was a little okay.
It was interesting. Sure, it's an interesting take.
The fact that Gabriel was more or less a fallen angel.
Became a fallen angel,
right,
yes.
Right, becomes a fallen angel. Because I'm like, wow, Gabriel's the one who announces Christ's birth in the Bible. This is interesting. But from a story perspective,
right,
I kind of like the parallel of, okay, well, Gabriel's the angel that announced Christ's birth, and
they were trying to make a parallel to be the one
Gabriel
who announces
is going to bring into the world the son of Satan. So I thought it was an interesting parallel. Not that I agree with theology, just an interesting parallel.
It was for storytelling. It was an interesting parallel. Yes. What does George Lucas say?
It's like poetry. It rhymes.
So, yeah, I like the whole point of how they made a joke throughout the whole film, and then at the end, oh yeah, we hear you're the one soul Satan himself is going to come up to get, kind of a
Satan
thing.
comes and gets him,
Yeah,
or comes
that
to get him anyway.
comes to collect his soul or something like that. Yeah, and he does.
And that guy was great, by the way. He was.
Yeah, he's the one who's at the beginning of the second John Wick film.
So let me tell you something. That
Yeah.
gave me a feeling of another Keanu Reeves movie,
Oh, which one?
Devil's Advocate.
Oh my goodness.
That is an incredible movie, by the way.
Al
And,
Pacino.
Al Pacino plays the devil in that one.
Gretchen Mol.
And Al Pacino is amazing in that movie. He really
is amazing.
And
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves was great in that movie too.
Yeah.
That is a fantastic Keanu Reeves. I would highly recommend that if you're into Keanu Reeves movies. And
Good night. How old is that movie?
It came out around the same time, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yep. They're close to the age, so.
Devil's Advocate movie was 1997.
Oh no, I guess it is a little bit older.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
Oh no, Charlize Theron, Connie Nelson, Al Pacino, Keanu Reeves.
So basically, Keanu Reeves is a lawyer in this, and the devil is like the head of the lawyer group, the firm that he's a part of, and he's trying to make his way up in the firm, and then eventually he finds out he's working for Satan.
Right. Those blood-sucking lawyers.
Kind of makes sense, doesn't it?
Roger says Point Break is his favorite Keanu Reeves.
Point Break was a good movie too.
With Patrick Swayze, that actually was a good movie.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, that was a good movie.
The Dead Presidents.
Right. Yeah.
I like that film too. That was a good film.
So I really enjoyed the storyline. Rachel Weisz, I guess if I'm saying her name right, who's married to James Bond, Daniel Craig, kind of a thing. She was in it. She was in the last movie I saw her in was the fourth Jason Bourne movie, Bourne Legacy, that had Hawkeye. Hawkeye was in it. Jeremy Renner was in it and stuff. So it was okay. It was an okay movie. It had some great action sequences, of course, but she was in that one. So her, you find out her and her sister were twins and then really have this ability. I thought that was good, the psychic ability.
Yeah.
And how it was all played about. I think the story was good and intricate and how it kind of wrapped some stuff up, which was really good. Did you see the post-credit scene?
You know what? I stopped it. I didn't realize there was a post-credit scene.
Yeah, there's a post-credit scene.
I stopped it. Oh, because this movie's so old. I wasn't even thinking. I was like, there ain't no post-credit scene, so I just stopped.
Yeah,
I didn't even watch through the credits at all. So okay, what did I miss?
so Keanu Reeves as John Constantine is visiting the grave of Shia LaBeouf's character.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And
I like his character too. By the way, he was pretty cool.
He was fun. He was a fun, character. It's not like it is in the books,
Right. He died, and he finally got into the fight and everything, and then he dies.
He dies. Yes.
Man.
So then you see John Constantine walk up to his grave, choose a stick of gum rather than a cigarette, has his lighter, puts his lighter on top of the grave, and then starts to walk away. Then all of a sudden you see Shia LaBeouf in that white that Gabriel was in, that kind of white, and then the wings span out and he just looks up, kind of grins, and then shoots up in the air.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's real short.
Dang, I wish now I have to go back and rewatch it.
Right?
That, yeah, because I had no clue. That's a cool ending. I like that. Neat.
Yeah, it was nice. I was like, oh, you find out what happens to Shia LaBeouf's character. What was his name? That was going to drive me crazy.
Well, okay, now there are rumors
Ooh, I like
that
rumors.
there could be a Constantine 2.
I have heard that.
How do you feel about that? Being the fact that you're a Matt Ryan fan now.
I'm because of Matt Ryan's work has made me really a fan of the character.
Right, yeah.
So anytime we get anything with that character, I'm up for it. Do I wish it would be Matt Ryan? Yeah, I do, because I just I from what I know of the character, what I've read about the character, even when I was reading Deceased, it was Matt Ryan's voice. It was Matt
Yes.
Ryan. I mean, it was all Matt Ryan. So if Keanu Reeves does it, I'll accept it. I'll be fine, because it is a continuation off, let's say, that universe, for lack of a better term.
Okay.
Even though I'm not a multi-fan.
Oh, wait. That puts it into the, I'm going to say the word, multiverse.
No. So
Steven's accepting the concept of a multiverse, ladies and gentlemen.
yeah. It's kind of
Actually,
sort of.
you just fixed this in my head. Thank you.
Yep. Because really, I took it as an American John Constantine, not the English
Not the real
John Constantine, right? Which would be the real John Constantine.
Right.
Now, granted, he gets around. I mean, he's in, he knows. I mean, Midnight is a Louisiana occultish character.
Yeah. Right. Which he was great. He was perfect in this.
Oh, he was great.
I loved him. He was so cool.
They played off the antagonistic nature between the two of them, but yet at the same time partnering up when they need to.
I could see that character in Dresden too. He would have fit in perfectly with Dresden.
Yeah, Papa Midnight. Excuse me,
Yeah,
Papa Midnight. Yeah.
So okay, so you just fixed something for me, because when I started searching about Constantine 2, and I'm seeing that there are rumors that it could happen, that with Keanu Reeves also. And Keanu Reeves has been revisiting older roles. I mean, he went back to The Matrix. He's done John Wick. And what else did he recently do? He did something else. Oh, well, he did Bill and Ted, So he's been going back to some older roles and stuff. So it's not out of the wheelhouse that he could do a Constantine 2.
Yeah.
And after watching the movie, I had mixed feelings on that idea, because, like you, I want Matt Ryan in there. But if you were going to continue from this Constantine film, I don't know if I'd want Matt Ryan. Because it wouldn't be right. You know what I mean? It would feel weird that Matt Ryan continuing this story that Keanu Reeves did. So when you just brought up the concept of this is Constantine in the multiverse, in a different part of the multiverse, I'm like, okay, I can separate it in my head. I'm good with this. I like this.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, if there was a second Constantine film with Keanu Reeves, what I would like to see, because obviously Gabriel has become mortal now.
Yes.
At the end of the film. So I would like to see where her character falls in as a mortal in Constantine's world. I think that would be interesting to delve into. And then now that you said that about Shia LaBeouf's character, does he come back?
Does he come back
in Gabriel's place as the angel?
Yeah.
So
Screen Rant ran an article just a couple of months ago, and it said, here's what they said: in December 2021, Reeves revealed he had failed to get Constantine 2 made, saying on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, "I would love to play John Constantine again from the Constantine movie. I've tried, Stephen. I would love to."
Oh, wow.
So it's tough to say.
When was this interview?
Last December.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, like I said, I just saw some rumors that it could possibly be in the works. That's all I saw. I didn't see anything else. So, and
Yeah.
and again with the new WB regime, WB Discovery regime, I'm not sure they. I mean, yes, Keanu Reeves is that's a name that fills butts in the theaters. That's for sure.
Mhm.
That's a given.
Mhm. Right.
But DC comic fans, are they willing to, are we all willing to accept Keanu Reeves picking up the role again after watching Matt Ryan? And
Right.
I think the regime right now, they are very uh adamant on doing what the fans, want. So
Mhm.
it's iffy. It's really iffy that a second
Mhm.
come up. And if they are, like you had said, you mentioned that the Batman movie hasn't been greenlit for a second film. And I think the only reason I think that may be happening is because they're questioning the multiverse. They're questioning the idea of having multiple Batmans in,
Mhm.
you know, in the movie theater at the same time. So they
Mhm.
could look at this the exact same way. We only want one Constantine. We don't want two Constantines out there.
Mhm.
Again, me as a DC comic fan, I can separate this in my head as a multiverse story, and I'd be okay with that.
Right.
Now,
Right.
there is one thing that goes against that grain, is the fact that they're going ahead with the Joker 2. Joker do I don't know. I can't even pronounce the words, the title that,
Duh.
yeah,
Duh.
de
Yeah.
whatever.
Duh. Yeah. The
Uh,
French
yeah,
un, deux, trois.
yeah, on the trois, whatever.
Un, one,
So they are moving,
deux,
but
two.
they are moving forward with that, and that's obviously not the Joker of the Justice League universe. So
Yeah, it's a different
that kind of
take.
contradicts this idea of they don't like
Mhm.
the idea of a multiverse. I don't know. I have no idea what they're doing.
I think nobody knows. I don't think they even know what they're
Right.
doing. Kind of that's been the issue for years, decades even.
Well, now
Kind
it
of
has
thing.
come up that rumor has it they may have their Kevin Feige. I
Okay.
forgot the guy's name,
That's okay. Yeah, I don't remember
but he
either.
was involved in uh, the Batman Lego movie. He was involved in,
Oh, cool. Okay.
I forget what else, some other superhero projects, and apparently he is very, very pro DC Comics. He really enjoys the whole DC Comics, and I think he wanted to be part of he wanted to do Justice League, but they didn't give it to him. So that rumor has it he might be DC's Kevin Feige, which would put him in charge of DC movies, DC television series,
Mhm.
DC
Mhm.
comics, I believe. Just like Feige is in charge of the Marvel MCU, the Marvel Disney Plus stuff, and Marvel comics.
Mm.
So
Mm. Okay.
it's
Okay.
one person making the choices instead of having somebody heading up each one of these divisions, and they're all making
Cool.
choices, which
Cool.
I think is a smart move. It's I think it's better to have one person going, yeah, we do this and it ties to this, and we do this and it
Right.
ties to this, rather than, well, we got this person who doesn't know what this person's doing, who doesn't know what this person's doing, which is what we've had. Let's face
Right. Right.
it. So
Yeah. Good call. Oh man. Well, it has been interesting to talk about Constantine, one of our favorite characters
yes, Constantine, amazing.
that's in the universe, in the DC world. And I'm looking forward. I hope we get a Constantine too. If we get Keanu Reeves, that's fine.
Oh, hey, real quick, I just want to address this.
Yes.
Roger said, "Are we going to take back Michael Keaton as Batman?" And he just said, "After."
After.
I'm not sure what he's saying. After what? So Michael Keaton Batman is still going to be in the Flash movie, which still is happening. They have not axed it yet. I think they're very hesitant to axe a movie that they spent $300 million on. Yes, I know Batgirl was axed and it was 90 million. And yes, for us, 90 million and 300 million are both,
That's a lot of money.
that's a lot of money. But to them, they would rather get rid of a $90 million film than a $300 million film. So Michael Keaton will still be in the Flash, but Michael Keaton's Batman, I announced this at the top of the show, is not going to be in Aquaman 2. He was originally supposed to be in Aquaman 2, but they are refilming those scenes with Batfleck. So
Okay. Interesting.
Right. Which I'm okay with because that gives us
It's still the continuity of that universe.
Well, it's
you know
still
what I'm saying?
continuity of the Zack Snyder universe.
That's right.
And I like the Zack Snyder version of Justice League, especially this last Justice League iteration that he finally got to put out his director's cut of. I am a fan of that. So I don't know where Michael Keaton stands after that. I don't know if we get any more Michael Keaton after that. I hope we do, but if we're going away from the multiverse, I don't think it happens. I think he will be one and done in the Flash then.
Man, he would be great for Batman Beyond.
Yes, that's where I want him. Honestly, I don't care if they put him in anything, any of the other Justice League movies or anything like that. Give me Michael Keaton as Bruce Wayne mentoring the young Batman Beyond. That's what I want. You've got the setup for a grand slam. It's there. The bases are already loaded. Okay? Just bring your batter up and swing. Get it out of the park. You got it set up. Do it.
Yeah.
As the Emperor would say, do it. Do it now.
Do it.
I don't moving forward with this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Only time will tell. Only time will tell.
Box now.
All right. Well, with that, everybody, we need to wrap up the show. Great show. Great conversations. We had a lot of stuff on the news. We had a lot of stuff on our Geekdar. And then we had a great time talking about Constantine.
Yeah, one of my favorite DC characters.
Are we going to do Sandman? Did we say that?
Well, I haven't watched it yet. I want to watch it.
Okay.
I know you were
I want you to see the first episode. And let me know.
You said you weren't keen on it.
Because Constantine is in there.
That intrigues me.
I haven't seen. I've only seen the first episode, and that character was not in it in the first episode. So it's just kind of laying the whole first episode is laying the foundation for the series.
Gotcha. All right. Well, I'll check it out, and then we'll talk more about whether we're going to cover it. I'm not a Sandman fan. I don't know a lot about the character.
I don't either.
So I have no idea if I'll like this or if I won't. It may be a good thing I'm not a Sandman fan, because maybe I'll watch it and go, oh, this is awesome. And then go back and read the comics and go, oh, that sucked. I have no idea. I don't know what to even expect out of that.
So. Okay. Gotcha. All right, everybody. Hey, thanks for joining us. Real quick, if you haven't checked out our website at 2geeksmike.com, 2geeksmike.com, that is our one-stop shop for everything Two Geeks, where you can find our links to our merch page, our Facebook page, our Ko-fi page. By the way, on our Ko-fi page, you will find on Ko-fi.com/Two Geeks. You will find all kinds of fun stuff there. We do have our, as I should say, our little tier system, $1, $2, or $3 tier systems where we do extra shows. We have our sci-fi shows. You can get the audio versions at $2 a month. At $3 a month, you can get the video versions of those. Or if you have any questions, comments, funny anecdotes, feel free to email us at show@twogeeksmike.com. Show@twogeeksmike.com. If there's something you want us to cover or something that you would like us to chit chat or give our opinion on or our thoughts on, send it in. We'd love to do so, and we'll do it on the air. So, all right. Well, I am your co-host, Mr. Stephen Buster, along with Mr. Mike Shanks. Thanks for joining us, Mike. I will let you finish this out.
Oh man, I've been trying to find a Constantine tagline. I don't really have one. I mean, he's got tons of lines, but nothing great. So I don't know. Over and out, and Satan would come and collect Constantine's soul himself. So see you next time.
All righty.
Thank you for joining us today on the Two Geeks and a Microphone podcast. Tune in next week when we will have more news and reviews. Until then,
may the force be with you.